By the end of Avengers Infinity War, it became abundantly clear that Doctor Strange has a clear plan going into Endgame. We just don't know what it is. Hey, give us a break! We didn't get to look into millions of possible futures, but we did take a thorough look at his actions so far, and today we're going to discuss the possibility that Strange managed to activate the Time Stone before he handed it over to Thanos. Yeah, hear us out. Magic is a tricky thing, and it's something the MCU sort of danced around up until the release of Doctor Strange. Sure, there was Thor and all the other realms, but Jane Foster was able to explain most of their seemingly magic technology during Thor: The Dark World. When we saw Doctor Strange, we not only got to see mysticism in the MCU, but time travel. Doctor Strange's particular brand of magic and use of the Time Stone are relatively new to the MCU, but we did learn a few things about how they work both in Doctor Strange and Infinity War. When Strange uses the Time Stone in his standalone movie, Mordo tells him a price will have to be paid for what he's done. Having to pay a price for magic is nothing new. Everyone who's seen Hocus Pocus knows that rule. Wong also chastises Doctor Strange by telling him he isn't just manipulating time, he's breaking the space-time continuum. Harsh words from someone who listens to Beyoncé, huh? The point is that whether you're the Sorcerer Supreme or the Mad Titan, there's a price to pay if you start messing around with time. During Infinity War, it became clear Doctor Strange hasn't been slacking on his training. He had applied an enchantment to the Eye of Agamotto, which Ebony Maw found out the hard way when he tried to grab it. Doctor Strange reveals that he had cast a spell on it, and anyone but himself would have considerable trouble removing it. He also implied that, if he were to die, the chances of dispelling the Time Stone would be even less. Doctor Strange may have perished before the end of Infinity War, but at least he outlasted Ebony Maw. However, this scene was on our minds when we saw the aftermath of Thanos using the gauntlet. The Russo brothers have confirmed that Thanos injured himself while using the Infinity Gauntlet. This could have been because there was a flaw, whether accidental or purposely included, with the Infinity Gauntlet itself, or perhaps the power was simply too great for even the mighty Thanos. But it's also possible that the same magic which burned Ebony Maw was responsible for hurting Thanos. Could Doctor Strange have had one last trick in store before he fell victim to the decimation? Well, just check out the way the Time Stone glows when Strange hands it over to Thanos. And we also see those glowing green runes which appear whenever Strange uses the Time Stone. This is in stark contrast to the other Infinity Stones, which just glow brightly when someone is using them. This could be another clue that something was going on here. We see Doctor Strange visit over 14 million possible futures while seemingly remaining in this timeline, but it's possible he might have been exploring in a way we simply didn't see. We know that one of Strange's many tricks is projecting an astral image of himself while his body remains elsewhere. He may have remained physically in the present while his astral form was exploring and possibly interacting with elements from various other timelines. One of the handy things about the Time Stone is that you have infinite time while you're using it, so there are really endless possibilities regarding what Strange could have been doing. Will we see the real Doctor Strange during Endgame, or merely an echo he sent out during Infinity War? We thought Strange had perished before he had a chance to tell Tony Stark what he'd seen in the One Good Future, but with the power of the Time Stone, it's possible that it's not too late. We love watching Tom Holland in his role as Spider-Man, but we also love when he plays the part of a walking spoiler during interviews. On one occasion, he and Benedict Cumberbatch were asked about their performances in the MCU. Holland said his co-star has the most difficult lines and has to talk about so much quantum realm stuff. Now we know that Holland and Cumberbatch worked together during Infinity War, but the quantum realm wasn't really a part of that movie. So many of us think it may be integral to the defeat of Thanos during Endgame. Could Holland have dropped a massive hint about what we can expect the role of Doctor Strange to be? After all, the quantum realm is a place beyond space and time, so Strange seems like the most likely candidate for exploring it. Another big glaring clue that the quantum realm will be involved somehow is the Endgame trailer. In it, we see Scott Lang show up at the Avengers headquarters, but the last time we saw him on the big screen, he was seemingly trapped in the quantum realm with no way out. There's even the fact that Janet Van Dyne mentioned time vortexes and told Scott to be careful of them during his mission. When the decimation happened, it seems as though Scott was stuck in the quantum realm, since there was nobody on the outside who could get him out, and up until this point, we were wondering if he was going to spend all of Endgame trapped in there. But since we saw him in the trailer, it's clear he manages to get out somehow. It's easy to look at Infinity War and figure out that Tony Stark's going to be a major player in Endgame. After all, Doctor Strange sacrifices the Time Stone to save him. But let's not count Ant-Man out just yet. It's possible Strange timed handing over the Time Stone in a way that ensures Scott ended up trapped in the quantum realm. We don't think it's a mere coincidence that Scott happened to be inside of the quantum realm when the decimation happened, and we don't think it was a surprise to Doctor Strange. If we go along with the idea that Doctor Strange had activated the Time Stone when he handed it to Thanos, Thanos, then it's possible he managed to create a time loop like he did when he fought Dormammu. When Star-Lord lunges at Thanos, Doctor Strange doesn't do anything to stop him, even though it most certainly seems like he could have. It's possible Strange knew their initial defeat against Thanos was inevitable, and all he could do was try to get the timing right. If anything hadn't played out exactly the way it did on Titan, Scott wouldn't have been in the quantum realm. So even Star-Lord's mistake was all part of Strange's ultimate plan. He wanted Scott to end up trapped in the quantum realm, but why? With Doctor Strange and the Time Stone both effectively gone, time travel is out of the question for our heroes unless they find another method. And it seems as though the time vortexes in the quantum realm could be the solution. If Scott wasn't inside the quantum realm when the decimation happened, then there's no way he would have discovered time vortexes. At least not without the help of Hank Pym, who we all know didn't survive the snap. Hank has described the quantum realm as a reality where all concepts of space and time become irrelevant. And needless to say, we think this would have been quite useful in the fight against Thanos. There's the obvious benefit of time travel, which would allow our heroes to go back in time and collect the Infinity Stones before Thanos had a chance to. Plus, there's the fact that operating inside of the quantum realm means our heroes have a surprise weapon up their sleeves. It seems unlikely Thanos can monitor their actions while they're in the quantum realm, or that he even knows that it's an option. By getting Scott stuck in the quantum realm, Doctor Strange may have given his friends access to an extremely powerful weapon in the fight against the Mad Titan. It's easy to dismiss Ant-Man as a comic relief character, but if you think about it, he can do things none of the other MCU heroes are capable of. We've seen our heroes try to take on Thanos in an all-out battle, and in case you don't remember, it ended really poorly for them. But being able to come at Thanos from the quantum realm might be something else entirely, and that's what Ant-Man could be bringing to the table during Endgame. Sure, Doctor Strange promised no tricks when he handed over the Time Stone to Thanos, but do you really think he meant it? Think back to when we saw Strange use a time loop in order to defeat Dormammu. Even a massively powerful being like Dormammu had no idea Doctor Strange was manipulating time when the two first encountered one another. So it seems likely that Strange could have created some sort of scenario with Thanos being none the wiser about it. Is it possible that the loop begins when Thanos obtains the Time Stone, and after a certain amount of time passes, everything will go back to this moment? When you have the Time Stone, time really has no meaning. So who knows how long of a loop Strange could make? This could give our heroes the chance to surprise Thanos by appearing through a time vortex to stop him from ever collecting the remaining Infinity Stones and snapping half of all life out of existence. There's a lot of predictions we can make about Endgame, but time travel is one that seems quite certain. Aside from the fact that it seems like the only way to undo the decimation, there are also these images from the set of the movie. We see our heroes traveling back in time to the Battle of New York, and Ant-Man is among them. We're sure we don't need to tell you that he wasn't in the Avengers, which means he must have gone back in time somehow to this pivotal battle. Not only was this an exceptionally important moment in the MCU timeline, but it's a great place to start if you're looking to collect the Infinity Stones. There's the Mind Stone, which was in the Chitauri Scepter Loki was wielding, the Space Stone at Stark Tower, and the Time Stone, which was accessible through the New York Sanctum Sanctorum. But as we discussed earlier, time travel has a lot of possible ramifications. Even making a seemingly minor change in the past could seriously impact the way things play out later on. Trying to stop Thanos from wiping out half of all life in the universe is a noble goal, but is it worth messing up the entire MCU timeline? After all, Marvel Studios has been creating a universe for over a decade at this point. They've created hours upon hours of stories, and time travel has the power to undo everything they've built up. This seems like way too big of a risk to take, since it could undermine the very foundation of the MCU. Luckily, being able to use alternate timelines or time loops is a convenient way around this problem. Using the quantum realm, our heroes may be able to visit different timelines and borrow Infinity Stones from one of the many unlucky universes where Thanos wins and nobody's able to stop him, or from a place and time where it won't have a negative effect on the rest of the world. There are even some fans who think Doctor Strange may have already done this. Maybe the Time Stone he handed to Thanos isn't really the one we saw him carrying around in the Eye of Agamotto the whole movie. Maybe he borrowed it from the one future where our heroes managed to win. This would mean that despite Thanos having the one Time Stone, another could exist and possibly be utilized by our heroes. Maybe Tony, who Doctor Strange saved for a reason, has it in his possession. Sure, we saw things looking pretty grim for him in the Endgame trailer, but there are several reasons why he may not have utilized the Time Stone. He may be worried about screwing up the timeline, or he might be worried about what'll happen to him physically if he tries to harness the stone's power. We know Doctor Strange makes it look easy, but this isn't an area Tony has experience in. There are so many possible scenarios that could play out during Endgame, and we can't wait to see what really happened when Doctor Strange handed over the Time Stone to Thanos. After hearing what we have to say about Doctor Strange activating the Time Stone, what do you think? Did the Sorcerer Supreme manage to pull off one more bit of magic before perishing? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more MCU content. Thanks for watching.